Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. I bid to both of my panels, Madam Noliza and Dr. Irfan. So today I'm going to present my thesis entitled Method Used by an Experienced Muet Teacher in Teaching Writing Skill to Muet Candidates. It's a case study design. This is a bit of my information. My name is Aina Umairah binti Muhammad Khalid and I'm from TESOL 1 Semester 8 intake June 2016. Moving on to the introduction. So we know that English is an international language and has been used widely all over the world. Like in Malaysia itself, we study English for 6 years in primary school and then 5 more years in secondary school. So what about tertiary education? Like some other country, they have TOEFL, they have IELTS, they have ESOL to measure their students' English proficiency level. So in Malaysia, we also have one specific test which is under the responsibility of MEC or Malaysian Examination Council, Majlis Peperiksaan Malaysia, which is under the operation of Ministry of Education, which is responsible to conduct this specific test called Malaysian University English Test, Muet. So we know that Muet has 4 skills, which are listening skill, speaking skill, reading skill, and writing skill. However, in my thesis, I'll be focusing on writing skill only. Why? Because writing component can be one worse according to Ministry of Education 2013, meaning that an educator of Muet or Muet teacher or Muet lecturer should be putting a lot of effort in teaching this component because it's very technical. And writing component can be divided into 2 parts, which are, the first one is Task A, report writing, the allocation of mark is 40 marks. And Task B, academic or extended writing, the allocation of mark is 50 marks. So it's important for a candidate to pass Muet with satisfactory grade in order for them to enter university and take their desired course and in order for them to get the job that they applied for. But most importantly, it is important because we want to achieve the goal, the aspiration of the Malaysian Education Blueprint, the Pelan Pembangunan Pendidikan goal, which aim to produce competent human being, competent student in all aspects and first-class human capital. So this aspiration of the Malaysian Education Blueprint will be the stand for my thesis. Moving on to the statement of problem. Why is it problem? Because Muet carry the second highest weightage, which is 30%. And as I stated earlier, it's very technical, meaning that even though the students are good, the candidates are good, very good in English, very proficient in English, but if they do not know the correct technique to answer this paper, they still wouldn't be able to get the highest band, which is band 6 or band 5. Because it's very technical, so they have to know the technique to answer this paper first. And a report by MEC showed that 33.15% out of 72,701 candidates who sat for November 2013 Muet paper only scored band 3, which is not good enough because the requirement to enter university this day is band 3 and above. And even though they got band 3, they still cannot take the course that they desired, such as engineering, such as architecture, because those courses require band 4 and above. And a report by MEC in 2019 showed that 63.75% out of 81,013 candidates who sat for the May writing paper last year, May, only scored band 1 and band 2. And the final analysis of last year revealed that 89% students fell below band 3 in their writing component and only 1.97% scored band 5 and 6. And Retina Sami in his research stated that Muet writing test is viewed as big challenge by many candidates because due to their lack of language ability in terms of their limited vocab, their grammar and language sub-skill, their organization of idea, their the outline of the essay, their coherent and cohesive. And Hugh stated that the writing skill is the most difficult skill to master in Muet component because students require longer period to write an essay, like how to plan outline essay, how to construct sentences correctly, and then they have to check their grammar later on. So it's a problem. And a finding by Lee Allen revealed that Muet candidates had low synthesis skill that influenced them to generate idea, meaning that, as I stated earlier, the task A required the students to analyze and synthesize the stimulus given. If they are not able to do that, they won't be getting the mark that they deserve. So it contributes to the lower band. And last one, Muet teacher find the writing component is the hardest skill to be taught. Writing is a complex, challenging, and difficult process because they have to teach multiple skills, like how to write the thesis statement, how to write supporting detail, how to elaborate topic sentences. So it's very daunting. It's a lot to teach. And according to Majlis Guru Akram Negeri Terengganu, there were only 3 Muet teachers who are the members that help the MEC in producing the Muet question paper, which this number is not many enough, meaning that is the teacher who are expert in Muet is limited. And the purpose of this study is to identify and explore deeply and comprehensively on the method used by an experienced Muet teacher so that we can improve the Muet result. And to find out the prominent method used, to find out which of the method is being used the most in order to help other Muet teacher as a guidance, and the need to carry out this research is closely related as the expertise of this research is used is to guide other Muet teachers. So basically the purpose of this study is to give insight to Muet teachers and Muet lecturer, Muet educator to teach Muet writing skills. So the objective, there are 3 objectives. The first one is to find out the method used by an experienced Muet teacher in teaching writing skill to Muet candidates. The second one is identify the reasons of the method used by an experienced Muet teacher in teaching writing skill to Muet candidates. And the third one is to explore the method used by an experienced Muet teacher in teaching during the teaching and learning process of Muet. So basically the third one is in the teaching and learning process. And the research question, as known, case study is to elaborate the question of why and how. So the first one is what are the methods used by an experienced Muet teacher in teaching writing skill to Muet candidates? The second one is why does an experienced Muet teacher use those methods in teaching writing skill to Muet candidates? And the third one is how are the methods we use during the teaching and learning process of Muet writing skill? So it focuses on what, why, and how. The significance, the importance of this research is, of course, as I stated, my stand is to fulfill the aspiration of MOE by helping Muet teachers to implement quality teaching methods, to enable other Muet teachers and lecturers to recognize language learning and acquisition problem and possible instances to use more suitable and convenient methods, because students, the candidates, come from various ability, so the Muet educators should find the most suitable methods in order to accommodate different participants, different candidates. And the other researcher may conduct a larger scale of study that will involve other skills such as listening skill, speaking skill, reading skill, so that the Muet teacher will get motivated, would have better understanding and use those methods listed as guidance to improve their pedagogy skill. So basically it's about, as I stated earlier, it's about to give insight to them to improve their pedagogical skill. And last one is, of course, to help the candidate achieve higher band. Okay, so this is the related past researcher. The black one is from the abroad, the research from abroad. So the first one, learning strategy. Basically, all this abroad research from abroad stated that the importance of using various methods in teaching writing skill. So look at the first one, Chamet and Cooper stated that importance of use different methods in academic writing could help them develop better writing skill in learning, such as teach how to use paragraph structure, how to teach on the basic component of an essay, different functional type of essay. So it focuses on various methods. And the second one, grades and done. The findings stated that teaching methods and learners' preferred learning methods will increase learners' motivation and learning, meaning that teachers should use the method that is suitable and use different methods because students are different. And the third one is Shulman. In his research, stated that teachers' knowledge, general pedagogy, and variety of effective method used to teach to different level of students will contribute to the successfulness. And the fourth one, the finding of this research show that the many methods in teaching writing skill will produce a better writing skill. And moving on to the research in Malaysia by Moon and Siu. Okay, they found that suitable method and approaches used in teaching Muet skill contributed to higher proficiency in Muet. And Abdul Samad, in his research, they suggested that the use of combination of methods in language skill component in the Muet rather than only use one method. So Abdul Samad also focuses on many methods rather than one method. And Zulkifli, in his research, stated that they found that Muet writing skill method has higher correlation to student academic performance when students are exposed with the correct methods in learning Muet writing skill. So in order to find the correct methods, the teachers should use the various methods and find out which one is the suitable one. And Tan, in his research, stated that students could not write tests. They also couldn't analyze and synthesize the information effectively. Hence, it can be concluded that students must be possessed with good writing skill methods in order to write fluently. So, the various methods is very important. And Melo Muhammad Yunus also stated that the improvement in writing skill is encouraged by using a technology. So, Melo Muhammad Yunus stated that one of the methods is using technology, and Aditya, in his research, in his findings, stated that great improvement in Muet writing skill by using mind mapping. One of the methods is mind mapping. And Suhaila, in his research, stated that students show improvement in Muet writing skill by using paragraph outline method. So that's one of the other methods. And Bhagavati, in his research, the findings stated that the cooperative learning strategy promoted and improved the use of a writing component in Muet. This is the other methods, which is cooperative learning. And Kismullah Yusuf, the last one, is grouping methods could enhance writing skill. So as you could see, these past researchers stated that the importance of using various methods, and some of the researchers stated only one particular method. So in my research, I'll be stating what are the various methods, listed out all the various methods and stated which is the prominent one, instead of only listing one particular methods. So research design, again, is a case study. This research employ a case study design where it only uses one experienced respondent. This research used qualitative approach by having three methods of data collection and the semi-structured interview protocol as the main data, and it's supported by observation and document analysis, and field note and diary also used to reinforce those three data. So then those data will be triangulated among them. And the type of data collected are narrative data from semi-structured interview protocol, checklist data from observation, and data from information document. So as I stated earlier, as interview is the main data, main instrument, so it can stand on its own to produce the theme. And the data will be analyzed descriptively to produce findings that will be used to forming parallel patterns, subsequently producing various method study. So this is an overview of my thesis. Okay, so those data will be triangulated. Okay, so for the population and sample, I'll be using purposive sampling because I purposely choose this particular respondent. She is one of the experienced Muet teacher in Kuala Terengganu. Okay, that teach in SMK Sultan Sulaiman and have 35 years of teaching experience, 14 years of teaching English since 1985 to 1999. And when Muet started in 1999, she immediately teach Muet in that very year. So the teaching Muet experience is 21 years, and she's been heading Muet team since 1999 in the first establishment of Muet. And she's been producing and marking Muet examination papers since 1999. She produced Muet materials, books, and JPN modules, a lot of Muet materials. And the only representative from Terengganu to reinvent Muet new CEFR aligned format in 2021. So as known, next year will be new format, which is the CEFR aligned format. However, the methods of teaching writing skill is still the same. And her retirement age is in 2023, and she's in DG 48 to 54. So another information about her is she's the chief director Timbalan Pengarah in Muet organization in Malaysia. So the instrument used for data collection, the first one is interview protocol, the main instrument. The second one is observation. I'm using the checklist form. And the third one is document analysis. So the interview protocol, I use the semi-structured interview that contains 3 sections of question, which section A focus on background and demography of the respondent, and section B focus on general Muet question in that particular school, and section C focus more on the methods and process in teaching Muet. So observation can be divided into 2 parts also. First one is formal and second one is informal. The formal one is I use the checklist form and observe during the teaching and learning in the classroom. And the informal one will be using the diaries and field note to write the descriptive and reflective information, the facts, the idea, the opinion of the respondent. And I'll be analyzing and interpreting the way respondent answer the interview question, the pedagogical readiness. So the informal one is like during how she answer my question, how the data from the phone call, the data from the WhatsApp. So I'll be putting those information in my diaries and field note. And the last one is document analysis, which I'll be analyze the student work and worksheets, the Muet materials that she produced, such as books and modules, and last one is her own lesson plan in writing skill. So research procedure, first one, of course, I choose the design and write the proposal, and then I find the problem and issue related, and then I take out the 6 key features of aspiration from National Education Philosophy, the Pelan Pembangunan Pendidikan that I explained in introduction earlier. The objective question and all the elements are listed. And then my supervisor improvement. And then the verification letter, my personal letter, the IPG, the HEP letter. And then I go to JPN to send the letter because I want to interview that teacher in a school. And the EPRD, the research letter from the Ministry of Education. And I start to collect the data. And then the data, the analysis of the data will be triangulated. And the methods and process were analyzed and elaborated narratively, and the reason was stated to see it's parallel to the 6 key features or not, meaning that the aspiration. and I discover the main category and its theme. Then after that, I go to the expert and ask for the verification of the theme. And I do the discussion, conclusion, suggestion, and implication. So the data collection procedure, first of course, after the letter were gained and the verification, the approval were made, then I made an appointment. And then the data collection started on 22nd October last year. And I asked the permission to record. And interview were carried out 3 times after the school hour, 30 to 40 minutes. And I listened to the recording and transcribe. And appointment were made again for the respondent to sign to verify the transcription, to check, to do correction or to add something. And observation also were carried out 5 times, okay, which were on 23rd last year, 13 November last year, 15 January this year, 5th February this year, and 12th February this year. Okay, as this is important to tell because I carry out this observation on the same time, which is 10:45 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. So it's the same time frame, which is every Wednesday and the same hour. And then verification by the respondent of the transcribed data again. And I analyze all the document collected and analyze the data collection, triangulated, cross-checking, validate to see the correlation of the methods I have listed, the data I have listed. And the analysis procedure, the data collection took out 5 months since October last year, and interview data is main and primary data, so it can stand alone for consideration of the construction of qualitative theme, as I stated just now. And the collection of information from analyzing the document enabled to add, compare, strengthen the data gained from the interview. And the transcription were verified. Then instrument again were triangulated, cross-validation, and the data will be analyzed descriptively and interpretively, and category and themes are identified. And then to check if my finding is to see whether the objective are achieved or not. And finding can be used to increase and enhance Muet writing result. This is the implication, and to help other teachers and lecturers to improve their pedagogy. So validity and reliability, the phase validity and reliability, of course, I asked my supervisor to approve the content and the instrument build, to check my interview question, my checklist form and all. To carry out the pilot study twice, which I carry out to my peers so that the questions, the interview question are understandable. The number of instrument carried out, like 3 times for interview, 5 times for observation. Then all documents were taken and analyzed. Respondent verification on the data collected, the transcription, she signed and she stamped. And triangulation of data to see correlation, of course, this is the most important one, to cross-check. And the expert verification on the thematic analysis. This is I asked the lecturer from other department, JIP, to check my theme and to sign. So this is my conceptual framework. Okay, I use Muet, one experienced Muet teacher, one respondent, and then the method she's been using in teaching writing skill, and the Muet candidate's achievement. So this is data finding. This is the demography of this teacher. She's graduate from University of Wales, Cardiff, United Kingdom, with first class honour. Okay. So this is the Muet achievement in that school last year, which is good enough. Okay. Which is, you see, Band 5, there are 12 students overall in Terengganu State that got Band 5, and four of them in Kuala Terengganu, and 3 of them is in SMKSS, in that particular school. So it contributed 25% to the state and 75% to district Kuala Terengganu. So it's very good. So the data finding for the first question: what are the methods used by an experienced Muet teacher in teaching writing skill to Muet candidates? So they can be the category of this finding is, the first one is methods in teaching Muet writing skill. So that's the first category, and it has 6 main themes. The first one is grouping methods, whereby this respondent use heterogeneous group and homogeneous group. And the second theme is focusing on the basic component of writing, which the sub-themes will be part of speech, the grammar, the respondent focus on the grammar, vocabulary and spelling, sentence structure, paragraph, signal words, type of writing. Okay, so this is the technique. And guided writing and practices, which is such as labeling, summarizing, identifying, stating signal words, information transfer. So those are the techniques in guided writing and practices methods. And sample and answer keys, because as I stated earlier, Muet teacher cannot simply ask the students to write. They have to give the sample first to see the techniques of answering writing skill. And the fifth method is integrated skill, which is the combination of speaking skill and writing skill, the combination of reading skill and writing skill, the combination of listening skill and writing skill. And the last method is by using technology in teaching a writing skill. So those 6 themes are the methods in teaching Muet writing skill. Mind that the approach, methods and technique is different. So those 6 are the methods. So method is like an overall plan for systematic presentation of language based upon selected approach. So when I asked the respondent, she stated that she cannot simply say that I use this particular method, I use that particular method, because a teacher should be using an eclectic approach, which is the combination of various methods, the combination of these methods. Okay, so moving on to the second question: why does an experienced Muet teacher use the methods in teaching writing skill to Muet candidates? Okay, look at the category. The category, of course, the competency. The first finding is to develop their teamworks, because they've been learning in groups, so that they know how to guide each other, how to help each other, how to brainstorm together to learn from each other. And the second one is leadership, because they'll be putting in a group, so they learn how to solve the problem together, how to assign the task, to play their own role. Like the advanced one will help the weak one. And the third theme is confidence, because as stated by the respondent, the students are not confident enough to speak in English, so it somehow will affect in writing component, because they do not know how to apply the second language in their writing. And of course, the communication. If they can speak well, then they can write well. And the planning and organizing skill, just like the method earlier, the one of the methods in the first question finding stated that the respondent teach how to write the outline, so they'll be produce a writing coherent and cohesively. And the sixth one is to develop a well-rounded language skill, because they've been taught how to speak and write at the same time, how to listen and write at the same time, how to read and write at the same time. So it's bilingual, it's a lot of skills at the same time. And it's up to date because she's been using technology. It's 21st century element. So this category competency is related to the stand that I explained in introduction earlier, to develop a competent student in all aspects. And the data finding for the third question, how the methods were used during the teaching and learning process of Muet writing skill. The category is during the teaching and learning process, which occur at the same time for all 5 observations. The first one is the scaffolding process, which is divided into 2 parts. When the students being guided by their peers in group, and when the teacher itself teach and scaffold the students. And the second one is the repetition and drilling process, because the respondent have been guiding the students since the first semester, since the candidate first enter the Form 6 until the examination. They've been doing continuous repetition and drilling process using the module, using the books, using the materials, and even in the teaching and learning process in class, since the beginning of the lesson, the respondent had been repeat and drill them by asking them question directly, by pointing out random students to answer, and should also be using authentic context for the lesson. For example, when upon entering the class, she's been using a topic about the students' daily life, so it will arouse the students to keep on talking, keep on communicating in English, even though it's not correct. However, because the teacher asks their students normal life that they can relate to. And the feedback process, this also can be divided into 2 parts, whereby the students correct each other, and also when the teacher correct the students by giving them stimulus, and at the end of the class they discuss their writing. So it's considered as feedback, constructive feedback. So this discussion is the method used could improve Muet writing results. Sorry, I'm having sore throat. Because they were guided in process since the beginning of their semester, and the process is repetitive until they sit for their examination. So this method, the 6 methods listed, is approved by many researchers, and it is proven to enhance students' writing achievement. And the discussion is from this interview and from the observation, from all the 5 observation, stated that grouping method is the prominent method used by the respondent. They learn in a group. However, it is also important to integrate 21st century method, which is the technology, and it could enhance their competency. So it is in line and parallel with the national education philosophy that aspire to produce a competent student in all aspects. Okay, back to the stand just now. And conclusion, to be an effective teacher, one must understand the concept of appropriate and various methods in teaching, not just one method, but all the methods, in order to accommodate students' differences. So the method used and the reason behind it are closely related with the experience of teaching. The method applied also suitable according to the student's level of cognitive, and the method also emphasizes on the technology and the prominent methods, which is grouping, and to produce students who are competent in the technology skill, thus enhance their English language proficiency and competency in lines with the Malaysian Educational Blueprint. And recommendation. Okay, the first one is MEC should conduct more Muet roadshow, courses, workshop, program and talk by inviting the experienced Muet teachers such as this particular respondent, so that it can give insight to other lecturers, the other teachers that teach Muet. And Muet teacher and lecturers should collaborate and invite this Muet teacher, or maybe create a group WhatsApp to discuss on the methods, on the problems, and varies the method according to student ability, not just using one method. And emphasize all skills, like integrate all skill, not just teaching a writing skill isolatedly. They must teach writing skill and integrate other skill, such as like the respondent uses, and one of the method is when teaching speaking skill, use one one issue and then use those issue in writing skill, so it's related. And suggestion for future research: use qualitative methods of quantitative methods or mixed methods. Okay, and more respondents, so that pattern in teaching method will become more prominent by using more respondents, not just using one respondent. And focus more in depth on the techniques for each methods, such as what techniques of teaching what techniques in teaching a guided writing, and wider the scope of research, such as writing skill and listening skill, the combination of skill. So the implication can be seen into 4 parts: the MEC itself, the school, matriculation university. Third one is Muet teacher and lecturer, and the fourth one is candidate result. So the MEC, the implication is the result of this finding can provide information and idea to MEC, because they are responsible for the supervision and management of Muet. So it will give them the opportunity to take positive steps to improve the methods of teaching learning Muet skill. And it gives the opportunity for them to carry out the ongoing review and monitor of the Muet process from years to years. Okay, and the school matriculation university, of course, is very important because it's very close to the Muet program. So the school matriculation university should be given proper attention and cooperation to enable the Muet teacher to further enhance their teaching practice by, providing a lot of teaching facilities, a lot of teaching materials such as the LCD, whatever it is that can, cater all the methods. And consider that Muet teacher are part of them, because in school the Form 6 are isolated, the blocks for Form 6 is far away. So consider the Muet teacher as the organization in school too. And the third one is Muet teacher and lecturer. Of course, this finding provide information about the method used and then raise their awareness and the importance of improving the methods and suitable teaching methods, and to improve in their professionalism, in their pedagogical skill, and to improve their teaching methods by using the more advanced teaching methods in this era, which is ICT, and to constantly reflect on their teaching practices. And last but not least is, of course, it is to help the students to gain better Muet results, so that they'll be competent enough to enter the tertiary education, to enter university, and to apply the job that they deserve. And above all, it is to fulfill the MEC, the Malaysian Education Blueprint 2013 to 2025 objective, as I stated in my introduction as my stand before. So that's all from me. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.